Amidst the grim shadows of Chicago's unforgiving streets, a chilling tale of power, deceit, and an urban legend unfolded. The name, Flukey Stokes Senior, sent shudders down the spines of those who would dare to utter it. He was a man who straddled the fine line between infamy and dominion. His life, a gritty narrative of street smarts and relentless ambition and a ferocious appetite for wealth and control. Flukey Stokes Senior entered this wicked world in the unforgiving heart of Chicago's South Side, a place where dreams often shivered and perished. Raised amidst the unrelenting cycle of poverty, violence, and despair, he displayed an uncanny knack for street survival and an unyielding determination to escape the grim surroundings of such a life. As he delved deeper into the criminal underbelly of Chicago, he encountered formidable foes who would forever shape the course of his life. Among those foes was a man by the name of Jeff Ford of the notorious El Rukin Gang, BPSN, Blackstones, all well. Stokes' journey became intertwined with this criminal heavyweight, and their clashes etched a chilling chapter in the Chicago's dark history. Let's dive into it. Now, Jeff Ford, a very threatening and menacing figure and the chief of the Black Stone Street Gang, was a perpetual thorn in the side of Flukey Stokes Senior. See, their relentless power struggle painted the city streets with the colors of red, violence shaking the foundations of the criminal underworld. Jeff Ford's grip on Chicago's South Side set the stage for an enduring power struggle, and Stokes was hell-bent on seizing all control. Yes, the feud between Flukey Stokes and Jeff Ford escalated to an eerie crescendo of bloodshed and treachery. It was a battle for territorial supremacy, control over illicit enterprises, and a chilling assertion of dominance. Gunfights became an everyday occurrence on the streets of Chicago between those two, their names synonymous with a reign of terror that left an undeniable scar on the city's soul. Yes, it was the El Rukin Gang, led by the notorious Jeff Ford, that cast an ominous shadow over the ambitions of Flukey Stokes. The feud between Stokes' crew and the El Rukins was a blood-soaked vendetta, marked by brutal shootouts, treacherous betrayals, and an insatiable thirst for vengeance that knew no bounds. The streets of Chicago became a battleground, and Stokes was prepared to stop at nothing to conquer his rivals. Yes, the legacy of Flukey Stokes Senior extended beyond the brutal streets of Chicago. His son, Flukey Stokes Jr., was destined to inherit his father's dark empire. The bond between father and son was eerie, a relationship steeped in the gritty world of organized crime. Growing up amidst the shadows, Flukey Stokes Jr. was groomed to carry on his father's dark legacy. From an early age, he was immersed in the world of violence, narcotics, and treacherous dealings. The eerie torch was passed, and the father and son became a menacing duo, their influence echoing through the urban areas of Chicago. Yes, Flukey Stokes and his rise to power was fueled by an insatiable hunger for wealth. His illicit operations spanned a vast spectrum, from drug trafficking to illegal gambling and extortion. Stokes was a mastermind of the underground economy, a puppeteer who pulled the strings of Chicago's criminal underbelly with ruthless precision. One of the most infamous ventures was a chain of illegal casinos and underground gambling dens that spread like wildfire throughout the city. The stakes were astronomical and the risk even higher. Yet Stokes had a knack for slipping through the fingers of law enforcement, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives and twisted destinies. But it wasn't just the criminal world that Stokes infiltrated. He had an eerie talent for rubbing shoulders with celebrities, adding an unsettling layer to his life story. He became acquainted with none other than Sammy Davis Jr., forging connections that were as enigmatic as they were unsettling. In the seedy underbelly of Chicago's nightlife, Stokes' influence reached chilling heights. Furthermore, Flukey Stokes was a man who understood the importance of his appearance. He cut a striking figure in the underworld. He dressed in tailored suits with charisma and authority. His iconic fedora, always tilted just right, cast a shadow over his piercing eyes. Flukey Stokes was an urban figure, a dapper devil who commanded both respect and dread. His choice of attire wasn't mere fashion, it was a symbol of his dominance in the criminal hierarchy. A chilling reminder to anyone who crossed his path that he was a force to be reckoned with. Yes, Flukey Stokes. The eerie elegance that cloaked him only added to the aura of mystery surrounding his name. Flukey Stokes was also known for his flashy taste in cars. He drove the streets of Chicago in a fleet of luxury cars, each one a symbol of his power and wealth. From sleek black sedans to high-end sports cars, he turned heads and left a mark on the city's landscape. This was Flukey Stokes. Furthermore, behind the veneer of power and menace, there was another dimension to Flukey Stokes that contributed to his eerie mystique. He was a magnet for the women, that's right. He was a ladies' man, drawing them into his web of dark allure with an irresistible charm. Stokes had a string of romantic entanglements, each marked by a complex mix of desire and danger. His relationships were shrouded in secrecy, adding to the mysterious aura that surrounded him. For the women who fell under his spell, Flukey Stokes was a captivating enigma, a man whose embrace promised both ecstasy and peril. As time proceeded, and as Flukey Stokes rose to the top of the game, a creepy vibe started creeping through the city. The police were squeezing his criminal empire, and rival gangs were getting too close for comfort. Despite throwing a flashy $200,000 anniversary badge for his wife and making promises, his life took a sinister turn. On the day he met his chilling end, he was with his side piece, Diane Miller, near her house on 79th Street and South Ellis Avenue. It was the eerie night of November 19th, 1986 at about 12:38 a.m. when a heartless gunman armed with a deadly shotgun let loose, blasting the car's windshield with a deafening bang. More shotgun blasts tore up Stokes' ride, turning it into a scene of chaos and madness. Stokes met his grim end, shot up in the mouth and chest. At the same time, another cold-blooded shooter armed with a 9mm pistol took out his driver, Ronald Johnson. Somehow, Diane Miller, his side piece, managed to get away from it all, leaving the scene without injury. Now, Flukey Stokes, according to the folks in charge and to the authorities, he was the flashiest drug kingpin on the south side of Chicago. Word was, he'd put down some serious cash in the flashy Vegas casinos, sometimes winning big and sometimes losing big, like up to $250,000 in a single weekend. Nights at the local racetracks were his thing too, where he'd bet the farm with an insatiable hunger. Even though he supposedly owned a pool hall, the law said he was jobless. Funny enough, he claimed his riches came from gambling. Little did Flukey Stokes know the DEA had been watching him, getting ready to drop a federal indictment at his doorsteps. The charges? Drug kingpin, running a never-ending criminal empire, tax evasion. Talk about casting a dark cloud over his whole operation. Now, Garfield Hammonds, the big shot from the Chicago DEA, threw some vibes out there when Flukey Stokes was killed, when he said, and I quote, "Chicago's losing one of its most main cocaine and heroin plugs," unquote. See, Flukey Stokes was known for his flashy style, silk suits, fingers dripping with diamond rings the size of dinner plates, forearms stacked with gold bling, and a wristwatch worth more than people's cars. He even rocked a gold chain with a diamond-studded F for Flukey around his neck. But on the day he met his chilling demise, he was not wearing anything flashy. The coroner noted that he was wearing blue sweatpants, baby blue undies, a red leather jacket, red tee under a blue Michigan shirt, white kicks, brown socks, and a black cap, looking nothing like the flashy Flukey that roamed the streets of Chicago. Now, in a bizarre twist, Flukey Stokes and his funeral was way tamer than one would expect. It took place at A.R. Leak's funeral home on 78th Street and South Cottage Grove Avenue in Chicago, Illinois, the same funeral home that handled his son's funeral. Over 7,000 folks came through to get one last creepy glimpse of the mobster. People paid their respects in a weird and almost spooky kind of a way. Moms were lifting their kids up to catch a glimpse at the mobster. He was laid out in a fancy coffin, decked out with custom powder blue trim. Flukey Stokes was suited up, shades on, rocking a blue suit, silk shirt, blue tie, and a handkerchief, and some eerie blue snakeskin kicks. And get this, in his lifeless grip, he had a cell phone, a chilling reminder to his relentless hustle. All around him were these weird flower arrangements made from foam shaped like luxury cars and dice, reminding everyone of his love for fancy rides and his tall tales about making bank from gambling. And this is how it all ended for Chicago's own Flukey Stokes. Peace.